Hi everyone, welcome to today's reading. We're doing a week ahead reading today, so let's find out what will your following week be like. We have 4 piles to choose from today, from left to right, pile 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I've attached gifs to each pile that might help you to choose if you would like to choose visually. And I'll keep the GIFs looping on screen for about a minute or so that you have time to choose, and I'll keep the timestamps in the description box below. So see you in a minute. Hi Group 1, let's look at your week ahead. So first up we have the Queen of Coins. We have here the Child Orphan card. On a light attribute, it says independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. And on the shadow attribute, it says feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. Following this, we have the Blue Flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. Next up, we have the Jack of Hearts, Lahaya. The Wild Flowers card. The Doll card. And here, Creature's Paw. So I am quite surprised to see the relationship between the cards, or rather the correspondence between the cards in this pile. So we have the Queen of Coins, which is of course a motherly, nurturing figure, and we have on the receiving end, we have the Child Orphan card. So an orphan who's in need of that nurturing love, that care. And then in the cards on the bottom, we have the Doll card, which is about childhood and old wounds. So that corresponds with the Orphan card. And we have the Wild Flowers card. So this card, there are many meanings that could be attached to this, but one of it is, the idea of awakening, and that is, of course, linked to the Blue Flame card about spontaneous awakening. So, okay, now that I've gotten my all of the associations out of the way, let's start by looking at the Queen of Coins and the Orphan card. I think that this week for you would be about trying to let go of your fears, trying to let go of the hurt and the loneliness that you've experienced in the past. I see this Queen of Coins here as a literal figure, so this could be someone who in your life who would give you some guidance and support, or this could just be you rising up from that orphaned state. And I'm not saying that you are an orphan, but I'm saying that you had a period in the past where you felt very helpless and you felt that you had to do everything on your own, even though you might have felt so lost, so unequipped for the world. so confused and alone and scared and frightened, but this could be you maturing out of that state and becoming a nurturing figure, be it for yourself or even for someone else. So coming into your own being at peace with yourself. And you don't have to be female to be the Queen of Coins as well. Of course, the Queen of Coins represents a very lush, very mature, very beautiful energy, and I think that this could be you feeling very confident about yourself. The Queen of Coins is of course an amalgamation of the earthy energy of Pentacles and the watery energy of the Queen. So I think that one of the methods in which you overcome the feeling of being alone and scared is to learn to listen to your intuition and be grounded, live in the moment, taking things one step at a time and appreciating what you have for now. So I see you doing that a lot this week. So for example, you might not need to worry about the future this week, but instead just take a moment to appreciate what you have, appreciate the people in your life. And sometimes the reason, not all the times of course, but sometimes the reason we feel lonely is because we are not communicating with the people around us well enough. So I think that part of the reason you felt like you have to be all independent, have to do things alone, you felt so helpless, is because, or might be because, you were hesitant about asking for help. You felt that people won't won't reciprocate the help that you need. And of course there's a feeling of, or rather the fear of being needy, fear of being seen as needy, and as a result we start to close ourselves off from other people's help. And I see you overcoming that this week. Perhaps part of the reason you start to feel more confident, you start to be able to appreciate what you have, or you start to be able to appreciate the people around you, is because you learn to communicate with others in a more mature manner and ask them for help. And next up, we have the Wildflowers card and the Blue Flame, which can be about awakening for the Wildflowers card. So I see you being feeling a bit more free-spirited, feeling a bit more light-hearted this week. With the Wildflowers card, of course I get the image of not a beautifully curated garden, but just the beauty of nature, being unbound by conventional ideas of beauty even. So this could be about your self-esteem, being feeling like you don't have to be bound by what is considered beautiful, or even what is considered success. For instance, this could be you just flourishing in your own environment, in your own space, trying to find out what you're good at, and so on. Again, with this and the Queen of Coins, I see you sort of just taking a moment to take stock of what you have, to sing praises about yourself, even to feel good about yourself, to learn more about yourself. Because the Queen of Coins to me also have a very still energy, because the Pentacles or the coins is the slowest suit in tarot, and water is also a very slow energy. So I don't see you being super hardworking and productive this week, but I do see you working on yourself, just feeling good about yourself, addressing old wounds, confronting your childhood. Perhaps with the Orphan card, perhaps even learning to be okay with independence. So I do see you helping other people, the possibility of you helping other people, and the possibility of other people helping you, giving you that emotional support. But I also think that you are for this week at least feeling at peace with doing things on your own. Not that you were needy previously, but you might have been anxious about your own abilities. You might have undermined yourself in the past, but this week you're more open with learning things on the go. You're more open to facing uncertainties and not feeling like you need help for other people, but appreciating help if you do receive it. So I mentioned the blue flame card just now. So this card is about an awakening, a spiritual awakening. So if you okay, let me show you what's written in the guidebook, for it's quite dense for this card. So it says here that you might be going through a period of awakening and receiving visions or having experiences that are out of the ordinary. So with the Queen of Coins card, you're considering how much it's linked to intuition and even nature. I see you sort of experiencing vivid dreams perhaps. And I find that the balance between intuition and nature very interesting, because sometimes we can view things like intuition or spiritual awakenings as a sort of otherworldly experience, but what it is just a manifestation, a honing of our natural spiritual faculties and honing our connection with the world around us, being more attuned with the world around us. So I do see that it might be possible for you to have some sort of spiritual awakening this week. So this week might be huge for you. Or it could just mean that you've learned to look at things from a different perspective. You've learned to let things go and so on. And it also says here, many people glamorize the awakening process. However, in reality, it's much messier and more difficult than most of us believe. We must first let go of what we think we know for sure and how we make sense of the world. I guess that's what I was trying to say, but I could not have put it so eloquently. And well, this isn't easy. The awakening process, even when it's spontaneous, takes a considerable amount of time. And it can make you feel very ungrounded. So, this Queen of Coins card is also a reminder to let yourself be grounded, be connected with nature, be instead of worrying about the future, or instead of worrying about what you don't know, focus on what you are facing for now, asking yourself questions. What does this mean to me? What does this new knowledge mean to me? How do I deal with it? How does it change me? What prior knowledge, what misconceptions should I let go of, and what new knowledge should I let in? So do it a little at a time. Of course, you might not believe in the idea of the spiritual awakening in a very mysterious sense. So I think that for some of you, or even for most of you, this could just be about you trying to accept a new perspective. And with the creature's paw, so this card could be about forgiveness, about accepting the other, shaking another creature's paw, someone that is different from yourself. So this could be about someone else. or the Queen of Coins in its negative manifestation could be someone who is very devious, someone who has hurt you and made you feel like an abandoned child. So this card for some of you could mean accepting that they are flawed as a person and forgiving them. But I think that it is most likely about accepting something of yourself that you have tried to reject in the past. So coming to terms with a part of yourself that you tried to neglect or you tried to deny. This could mean that perhaps you've always felt that you didn't need help from other people. You shouldn't get help from other people, but this week you've come to terms with the fact that people are social creatures. We need help from others. And finally, we have the Jack of Hearts Lahaya. So this card could refer to a young lover or young love. So perhaps this week could be about you getting past an old relationship and being open to someone new or something new coming in. The wildflowers also remind me, it's also very romantic, reminds me of a bouquet, but not like a well-made and elaborate bouquet, just something that is it's not as elaborate, but it's sincere, not as majestic, but it's it warms your heart, it fills up your heart. So this new love interest might be someone who is more down to earth, more grounded, and someone who offers you something different from your previous relationships. Of course, what is going to happen in the future of this relationship is uncertain, but I see you coming to terms with that, just accepting that it might blossom into something new for you, or it could just be something comforting for you to experience this upcoming week. And that is all I have for this group. I hope this resonated with you, and I hope to see you again. Please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment if you liked this reading. So thank you and goodbye. Hi group 2, let's look at your cards. So first up we have the Temperance card. We have the Child Eternal card. So the determination to remain young in body, mind and spirit. Ability to see things with fresh eyes. And on the Shadow attribute it says the inability to grow up and be responsible. Extreme dependency on others for physical security. Next up, we have the Activated Earth card. Power places, Lee lines, trust where you're headed. We have the Elixir card, the Eye card, the Spider card. And we have here the Two of Spades, the Enemies. Okay, so immediately with the Temperance card, I see that the card is telling you to be patient in the upcoming week. I do see that there might be situations where your patience is challenged. With the Child Eternal card and the Two of Spades especially. Let's look at the Two of Spades first, the Enemies. So someone might be very, very antagonistic towards you, or you might feel the need to be very antagonistic towards another person in the upcoming week. And looking at the Shadow attribute on the Child Eternal card, I feel like this is someone whom you feel is very irresponsible, very reckless, and that recklessness might be affecting you in a certain way. This could be about someone you're in a relationship with, a family member, a friend, a co-worker even, and so on. So you feel like you have to confront this person's childishness. However, the Temperance card is telling you to be a bit more patient with them and have more patience with them. And again, I like to see the cards as different aspects of ourselves. So the Enemy card could also be about trying to reconcile and something that you have felt on the fence for a very long time. This is likely to be a rather huge issue for you. So to put things in context, let me give you an example. So looking at the Child Eternal card, I feel like you might have been there might have been something you've always wanted to do, but felt that it was impractical, or people around you told you that you are naive and being impractical. So, with the Two of Spades, I kind of see it as having these two voices in your head, causing you to be in a dilemma. These very loud voices shouting at each other. And the Temperance card is telling you that there is a middle ground. Not everything is in black and white. You can approach the situation that your heart desires with a very in a mature way, or that it's okay for you to have an open mind about things. It's okay for you to do things that makes you feel like a child again. The Temperance card is also very peaceful. So the image I see is a little bit like the Six of Cups in tarot. It's about being able to enjoy the little things in life, and being able to see the magical side of life that adults might not be able to see. And this Temperance card tells you that you might find something important to your well-being, to your spiritual being, or to your future by indulging in that childlike side of you. So I think that, as you can see on the light attribute of the Child Eternal card, I think that it is important for you to see things with fresh eyes. Be about let go of your preconceptions about things. Perhaps it might be also good to let go of what you feel is responsible behavior or not. Of course, certain things are very reckless and very irresponsible, like drunk driving. But perhaps it might also be good for you to let go of very uptight notions of what is right and what is wrong, and try to find a middle ground in the upcoming week. And with the activated Earth, I see that this card is basically telling you that if you have a goal, it might seem that the goal is not in sight now, but trust where you're headed. Know that there are certain lessons that you need to learn, or certain things you need to go through, certain trials you need to go through, like a hero, like Hercules and his trials and things like that. Certain trials you need to go through in order to get to the state of being that you want, or the goal that you want. Temperance card is also about alchemy. It's about mixing different things to get something new. So perhaps you are on your way to get these ingredients that you need, so that you can mix them, get rid of what you don't need, and come up with something new. If you're worried about a project of some sort, I don't see you getting a resolution this week, but I think that you might have more mental clarity by the end of the week about what you have to do. Perhaps you might reach a small goal, but I don't see you completing something big this week. I think it's very possible with the small goal though, like with the Child Eternal card, being able to see things with fresh eyes. So perhaps you might have been stuck on a project, or stuck on a conflict for a very long time, but this week you might be able to see things from a different perspective and find a new creative solution. The Elixir card, well, it really reminds me of the Temperance card. Temperance card being about mixing, and the elixir, to me, I don't know, it always reminds me of a witch mixing different things together and creating a magical potion. So I see you metaphorically creating that magical potion this week. This could, and speaking of potions, always reminds me of love potions. So this could be you coming up of a way to approach a relationship this week. Perhaps coming up with building more confidence in yourself to charm the other person. Or elixir always also kind of reminds me of communication. I think it's because I get the image of people sharing water, sharing water, sharing something sacred. So I think that this could be you coming to a resolution for the conflict you might be facing with someone else. The eye card is of course about perspective, like I've mentioned just now, gaining a new perspective. And the spider card can sometimes talk about feeling trapped, feeling stuck in a web. But I think in this case, it's not just about that. Of course, there might be moments throughout the week where you might feel like an insect that is trapped in a spider's web, especially with regard to that conflict that you are facing. How you feel like things are not moving forward. However, the spider is also the being that weaves the web, that lays in wait for something to come, for prey to come, for that spins these plans to prepare for the future. So I do see you getting a new perspective in the upcoming week that will help you plan for your future, that would help you go towards where you're headed. In your case, sometimes the message we get for the cards is to go with the flow. There are certain things that we can't control and we just have to accept. But in this spread, with the activated earth card and even the temperance card, I see that there are things that you should do in order to attain your goal, be it a milestone in a relationship or something related to school, to work, to a project, to a personal goal. So I see that you would be getting new knowledge that would help you plan for what is going to happen in the future, for the path that you are going to take. So on a side note, the elixir card could also be about your health. And the eye card is about paying attention to something. So this week you might be more concerned about your health. And the spider card, of course, the spider weaves its web because it's trying to get sustenance, trying to get food. So this week I do see you being more concerned about what you take in, being more concerned about your health. Being more aware that what you eat, what you receive is vital to your energy levels. Not necessarily just about food. This could be about the type of media you consume as well. So I think that you might be perhaps getting off social media for a while and trying to recharge. That's the message I'm getting from the elixir card as well. Trying to recharge and trying to find a new source of entertainment, trying to find a new source of information, perhaps, or even trying to consume media that you're not used to. So for example, if you're somebody who's only on YouTube, who likes to watch very short videos because you lack attention span, this might be the week for you to practice your patience and watch or read something longer. And instead of getting information from a news topic, for instance from Twitter or from YouTube, you might be borrowing a book from the library and reading about the topic in extensive detail. For instance, having a childlike fascination with the world around you, looking at things through fresh eyes. having a natural disposition to be curious about the world. And the two of spades keep getting back to me. I think perhaps it might. What I said about getting to know about the world, perhaps it might be also a message for you this week to let go of any prejudices you might have and be more open to other people's opinions. And that is all I have for group 2. I hope this resonated with you. Do let me know if any of this resonates with you or corresponds with what you have to face in the current or the upcoming week. And I really hope to see you again. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting on this video. Goodbye. Hi group 3, let's look at your cards. And for you, we have the Three of Cups. The visionary card. It says capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. Willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. And on the darker side, we have selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising a vision to make it more acceptable. Here we have big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. So I don't curate the cards in any way. I don't pick out the cards. I just shuffle and let them fall out. And I think it's very interesting that we have two cards related to being visionary in this pile. Here we have the Lion card. Wings. It's always nice to get a Wings card. And Book. And finally, we have here the Seven of Hearts, the Sword of Healing. Okay, so let's start with the Three of Cups. I like to start with tarot cards. The Three of Cups is, in its essence, about friendship. It's about celebration. So I see you having something to celebrate this week. It might not be something huge. It might be a completion of a project. It might be someone's birthday. Or it could be that perhaps COVID restrictions in your country has eased if you are watching this around the time of the upload and you are finally able to meet your friends or your family that you have not met in a long time, and there is a cause for celebration. Or if someone around you had been sick, maybe now they've recovered, they've gotten the vaccine, and it's a cause for celebration. So it might just be something small, although I get the sense that there's almost a sense of very intense bliss, a sense of ecstasy with the Three of Cups card, especially in this rendition. So let me show you what's written on the guidebook that came with this deck. Okay, so I'm using the Tarot of the Divine by Yoshi Yoshitani, and it's inspired by deities, folklore, and fairy tales from around the world. And this particular card is inspired by this Aspara from Hindu mythology. It's about camaraderie and a good time. The Aspara are celestial beings of the sky known for dancing, partying, and fornication. The joyous group oversees fertility rites, the performing arts, and the fortunes of gambling. So I see you having a lot of fun this week. And for those of you who are old enough to fornicate, there might be a lot in store for you this week. You might even indulge in vices that you normally wouldn't indulge in, like it's mentioned just now, gambling. But not necessarily vices. Gambling is only a vice when you are addicted to it. But some harmless fun every now and then is fine, I think, just to perhaps to relieve some stress, perhaps to do something that you don't normally do. So if you're normally someone who's a bit more uptight, who likes to plan for everything, gambling can help you relieve some of that tension, just have a bit of fun without thinking too much of the consequences. So have controlled fun, as Monica in Friends once said, I believe. The Three of Cups is also about, to me, it's a very artsy card, very creative card. So if you're somebody who is an artist, who is a performance artist, or even if you just like crafting as a hobby, I see you being very inspired this week. I see you being very productive, and having very fruitful efforts this week. So this might be a good week to start in with projects if you have not done so. And with the Sword of Healing together with the Three of Cups, I see you having some emotional healing from your creative endeavors, or from your celebration from a friendship with other people. Perhaps this is a much needed celebration, much needed respite, much needed fun. Perhaps you've gone through a very stressful period, and this week is going to really revitalize you. I think you are going to catch up with your friends, to really have a heart-to-heart with your friends. And I also see that you might be working with them to come up with something creative. The thing about the Sword of Healing is that we see in the card a sword coming out of water. So to me, this is not just about recovery. This is about gaining something new insight, new inspiration from healing. The water being, water, this other than being about intuition, creativity, is also about healing. And this is about you arming yourself with new knowledge, arming yourself with a newfound confidence, and a fresh pair of eyes, a fresh heart after you have healed. And I do see that your creativity and your friendship, your relationships is going to be a huge part of your healing in the upcoming week. And with the two visionary cards, visionary and big picture thinking, I do see you getting a lot of new inspiration and new ideas this week, especially if you are creative. Even if you're not, I see you getting very creative, innovative ideas. This could be related to your job. This could be just about smaller things in daily life, like, well, if you are concerned about growing your presence on social media, for instance, this could be about you posting in such a way that is inspiring to other people, that might help you gain more traction online, for instance. So with the big picture thinking card, of course, as the card says, I think it's to tell you to not to worry about the fine print for now, not to worry about the little details for now, but think about what you want to achieve next. Recalibrate your goals and work towards it. I see you being very, very inspired this week. This could, of course, also be about your relationship with, perhaps it could be a romantic relationship or a relationship with your friends. I see you sharing your new ideas with your friends, and I also see them supporting you with your new ideas. I think that your interactions in the upcoming week is going to really inspire you. I think that your friends and you are going to dream big this week. And in terms of how this visionary cards relates to relationships, I feel like you are at a point where you feel comfortable about sharing your ideas without worrying that other people might steal your ideas, or without worrying that you might receive some negative comments or negative feedback that might pressure you into making your ideas smaller, making your ambitions smaller into compromising your vision and try to make something more palatable, more conventional. So this week I see you being very confident about it. Whether or not other people support you, but I do sense that you are getting support from other people. And on a more unconventional reading of the visionary cards, I think that you might be making new friends, new relationships this week that are people whom you normally wouldn't associate with. So people who aren't your type. If this is a romantic relationship, you might go on a date with someone who isn't normally your type, but you might find something new about them, or you might find that even if that relationship, that date does not work out, you might find that you do not mind being more open about who you go on dates with in the future. Perhaps that you might have a conversation with them that helps you learn more about yourself, that helps you have this epiphany about who you are. That's important for your self-development. The book card also reminds me of gaining new knowledge, having an epiphany. The lion card is of course about being brave, having strength, being confident. It's about, lions are the king of the jungle. It's big about leadership, which I think correlates with your visionary cards. You might be spearheading a project in the near future. And wings, of course, about freedom. I do see you feeling very free of burdens this week, feeling like you could achieve anything. This card is also about ambition, so I think that you might have a newfound ambition in the upcoming week. This could be about, just to give you an example, if you are having a celebration soon, you might be preparing food. And who knows, you might start to fall in love with cooking and try to become a better cook, try to start a food-related business, try to sell your baking, for instance. Just throwing ideas out there. With the book, it's also about learning, so you might be starting to research on the new goal that you have. Well, in terms of a relationship, I do think that you are feeling very bold this week about your relationship. So you might be trying to. So if you are single and have someone you like, someone you're interested in, with the book card, I see that you might be trying to learn more about that person, trying to look into their social media and approaching them on social media, perhaps. Or you could be with the wings card and the lion card. I feel like you might be trying out different things, trying out different dates with different people. So I don't see you being very tied down this week. So I see you exploring your choices. And that is all I have for this group. I hope to see you again, and I hope you enjoyed this reading. Do tell me if it resonated with you. Please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thank you and goodbye. Hi group 4, let's look at your cards. So first up we have the Star. And we have the Midas Miser card. So on the light attribute, it says entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold. Wow, and delight in sharing life's riches. riches, and shadow attributes, it says hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. Next, we have breath of the cosmos, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. Next, we have the moon card. So interesting that we have the star card and the moon card. We have the house card and news. And finally, we have here the seven of clubs, sword of enchantment. So immediately with the star card and the sword of enchantment, I get the sense that something rather miraculous is going to happen for you this week. With the star card especially, I sense that you have underwent a rather difficult period of time, because if I remember correctly, I might be wrong. I don't remember the order of the major arcana cards perfectly, but I think the star card comes after the tower card, and it's about renewal, it's about hope after everything has crumbled down, after you've lost everything. And so the star card in this case, together with the sword of enchantment, makes me think that your hopes will be answered. Something happy is going to happen to you, something fortunate is going to happen to you. The star card also talks about the start of something new, and it's the birth of a new cycle. It's about the feeling I get here in this reading is about something very avant-garde, even because the star card is so associated with the Aquarius sign, and to me, Aquarius is always about being very new and very unconventional. So I think that the solution to your problems might be something very unconventional, so you might have a breakthrough this week, or something entirely unexpected is going to happen to you that would give you a glimmer of hope that might solve your problems. In a relationship reading, this is of course something unexpected that your person might say to you or might do that would make you feel loved, make you feel re-energized, or you could meet someone new that is out of your comfort zone, so to speak, but is going to offer you new hope of a relationship, for instance. But I do think that this could be about your job, finances, security, and so on, because of the Midas and Miser card. So on a light attribute, like I've mentioned just now, it's about being able to turn things to gold. If you had faced some financial hardship in the past, I think that you might have an idea this week that would bring you financial abundance. This could be a new business idea, or perhaps an investment has paid off. Perhaps you thought that you were going to lose money, but you've received some sort of residual check, or if you are into investing, perhaps the stock market has changed and your stocks have risen, for instance. But I do sense that there's something innovative with the Midas and Miser card though, so I really do think that for many of you this could be about finding a new way to make money. Perhaps you might apply for a job or receive a job that is something that you would have never thought you were qualified for, but this job is going to offer you a glimmer of hope. If you're still in school, I think that if we do not take the idea of turning things to gold to literally, I think this could mean that you feel you are giving a lot of insight and being very productive in group projects, for instance. And if you are in a club in school, I feel like you are able to turn problems into opportunities. And you are also having a very good week with your studies, I feel. And with the breath of the cosmos card, your my will, desire will, micromanaging the universe. This card is about you willing things to happen in a certain way. It's like, for example, you might have a goal in mind. You might feel like, let's say, you want to travel to a faraway country this year and you've been saving up for it and you have your itinerary all planned out. So when after you've gotten your vaccine, when travel restrictions are finally lifted, you might be you might have a very detailed plan about where you're going to go, how much time you're going to spend on each place, and so on. However, there might be unexpected things that are going to happen along the way. So for instance, a museum that you've always wanted to go might have closed down sadly because of COVID, or your friend might have to back out of the trip because they might need money for something else and things like that. So there might be things that are going to dampen your mood, and or you might not be able to travel to that particular country. So this might be time for you to rethink, or rather just accept that things are going to change. Things might not happen the way you want it to be, and go with the flow. Accept the volatility of things. Know that whatever you want will come to you. It just might not come to you in the time frame that you want or in the form that you want. The idea with this card is also that you shouldn't be too worried about all the little steps that you need to do to make things happen, or don't need to be caught up in knowing that your endeavors are going to be perfectly successful. So just do whatever you feel like doing at the moment. That's fine as well, and good things are going to come to you, like a sort of enchantment. Unexpected things are going to come to you. I'm not sure why I went into extensive detail about traveling just now. Which is strange though, like there's not a lot on travel in this spread. Like even with the house card, the star card as well is about staying rooted at one spot, taking time to recover. I think what I said about traveling, well, some of you might be planning a literal travel, but it could also be a metaphor for the journey you are taking over the course of the week. Going from a period of healing to welcoming new hope, welcoming something new into your life. So you don't have to worry about the change that is coming to your life, but just accept that something good is coming to you. The moon card here. Okay, moon in tarot can talk about illusions, fear, and uncertainty, but in other conventions, like in the Lenormand tradition, for instance, the moon can talk about recognition and fame. And in this case, I think it could talk about both. So perhaps you've underwent a period of uncertainty, but you are going to feel inspired again, feel renewed again. Perhaps you might gain some recognition and attention from your efforts as mentioned in the Midas and Miser card. Perhaps you might have an idea for a new business venture, creative venture to sell your wares. But the moon card is also about, phases of the moon. So change is coming. I think you should be open to accept the change. Things might not work out exactly the way you thought it would turn out, but I think that your moon is on the rise. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but things are going to work out for the better in the next week. The house card is, of course, about comfort and security. So this makes me think that you might have a windfall that is going to give you stability. Windfall, as I can see from the Miser and Midas card. Or it could just mean that you might be very comfortable being alone in your own home, in your own little hut in the upcoming week. Because the star card, I don't really see that as a card of is that a card of communication? Well, it could be about communicating with other people, but the star card in this reading, I think, is about refilling your well. So I think you might be in a little bit of a hermit mode in the upcoming week as well. The news card is, well, it's about the death of something. And on a positive note, I think this is like the transformation card in tarot, so the death of what no longer serves you. But I think that, if we look at the moon card in the tradition of the tarot and couple it with the news card, I do think that there are moments in the following week where you are prone to anxiety and self-sabotage. As a result of that anxiety, this could manifest as the shadow attribute of the Midas and Miser card. As you can see, hoarding money and being obsessive, having that fear of losing what you have. So I'm getting a very strong Four of Pentacles vibe here. So perhaps you've experienced hardship and loss in the past, and now you're being very overly possessive of what you have. You are blocking out good things that might happen to you. You are not taking chances. So beware of that. Try to be a bit more open in the upcoming week. So in the conventional star card, we see that the woman in the card is naked. She's very open. She's not feeling self-conscious. She's she's as naked as the day she was born. So this is a period of time for you to let go of anything that might have given you fear in the past, and just be as vulnerable as the girl in, let yourself be vulnerable, like the girl in the star card, and good things will happen to you. And I hope that this resonated with you. This is all I have for group 4. Please leave a comment, click on the like button, and subscribe if you like this reading. I hope you have a good week. I hope that something magical happens to you, and I hope to see you again. Goodbye.